If you are reminding your child to do chores, you're actually unintentionally training them not to take responsibility. And honestly, I think that's why motherhood feels harder than it should. But this will only work if you start at the right place. So step one, you need to set your expectations once. State them clearly, make sure your child understands, especially for littles, even having them repeat it back to you. That way there's no confusion, there's no excuse. For example, toys are picked up before we go outside. The laundry goes in the basket before bedtime. And I think this is really important to note that I don't make my child do chores, but I do allow my child to experience the results of not doing them. Second thing that I do is, again, I don't remind, I don't lecture, nag, I don't go and rescue, I don't go redo all the things. None of that. I state the expectations and then I follow through with logical consequences. You want these consequences to be relatable, respectful, reasonable. Like if your child left his bike outside, the proper consequence would be that that bike gets taken, right? And so if a child doesn't do his chore, I'll give you a couple options, but option number one, which is my go-to, is called a chore swap. So here's a real life example. Let's say I ask my child to clean the foyer. So then the child, he forgets because he goes and plays, he goes outside, whatever. Then he goes to bed. So this is where you step in to do the chore swap. I clean the foyer. And then the next day when I see my son, or maybe later on, whatever the time may be, I may say, hey buddy, I noticed that you didn't get your chore done, but hey, don't worry, I got it taken care of for you. Which of mommy's chores do you want to do? And make sure that you provide two options that are worse than your child's chore, obviously in a reasonable manner. So I would say, do you want to, unload the dishwasher, or do you want to unload, or do you want to handle the laundry? And again, I'm not arguing, I'm not angry. This is just a matter of fact, super calm, but I'm staying consistent, I'm being intentional. I'm creating a teachable moment. Now, let's say your child doesn't want to do either. And he says, no, I want to do the foyer, that's not fair. So you decide within 5 to 10 seconds. If he does not choose, you choose for him. And this is for every choice you give your child. Give two choices. If they don't choose within 5 to 10 seconds, choose for the child. So I will say, hey, you know what? Don't worry. It seems hard for you to make a decision right now. Totally understand. Why don't you go ahead and handle the dishwasher? And then again, I provide the reasonable time. Okay, so the second thing that I would say, option two, is payment. This works a little bit better if your kids are a little older, but still young enough to understand the concept of money. And so I will do the chore, but then I will charge for the service that I'm doing based on my rate. Let's say it took me a little bit more time, like maybe I asked to clean the garage. I would say, hey, I charge $50 an hour. How do you want to pay me? Do you want to hear some options? And that's the exact script I would use. Now, of course, your child is gonna say, I don't have any money, I can't pay you, that's not fair, all the things. And you know what? You just remain consistent and calm. And you say, you know what? Totally understand. Do you want to hear some ideas of what other kids do? That can be really powerful to say, other kids do. And so he'll say yes. And so you'll say, well, you can either pay me by, doing a chore that requires payment, like raking leaves or doing the attic, something more intensive that requires a paid chore. Or you can say, I can charge payment based on a value, like your screen time, a privilege, a toy, something of value. Now, if you do this route, you definitely don't want to charge your child something that you're not willing to actually sell. And some parents, they'll say your Xbox looks like it's $100, but then they go and hide the Xbox in the attic, then they give it back. You just don't want to do anything that's going to create inconsistency. You don't want to lose your authority and the weight of your words. You want what mama says, mama means, and you want to follow through. Or you can keep it small, screen time, a privilege, an outing, not getting to stay up late, not getting to go to a friend's house, whatever your options are, some sort of payment. Some sort of exchange, some sort of cost. Now these chore swaps and payments, they're just tools. This is not the ultimate goal. You don't want to create this kind of habit in your child where they're just feeling like all their chores are optional or somebody else will just do them for them. You want to make sure that whatever you're doing, it's very intentional and you do it occasionally enough, where you're teaching them a lesson. So anyways, just to wrap all this up, the last thing I would say is energy drain. This is kind of a silent cost because the mom or parent should never work harder than the child. I should never think about my child's chore than he does or she does. I should never carry that kind of emotional load and responsibility when I have so many other things on my plate that I don't need to be thinking about my child's bedroom and how dirty it is or how unorganized his toy bin is. Those are not things that should be on my plate. Here's a couple scripts that you can use for this energy drain. I just pulled up a couple on my framework. So it's on sale just for the month of January for $29. So or bummer or whatever your word is. I'm getting so tired or I'm feeling so tired from working harder than you. So I'm gonna give this back to you and I trust that you'll figure it out. Another one is, I noticed that I've been reminding you a lot to do X, Y, and Z. And honestly, it's kind of wearing me out. And so I'm going to stop reminding you and I'll let you handle it. Let me know what you decide. Or, uh-oh, looks like mommy's working harder than you. What can we do about this? How can you replenish mommy's energy? And this is something that it has to be done not with sarcasm, because you don't want to create resentment or like disconnect with your child. But this is something that can be really powerful to use. And what happens is, for example, like if you drive your child to sport games, I don't have energy to drive you to a sport game today. I'm just so tired. Or I don't have any energy to go hiking this Saturday until all these things get done first. And you obviously want to give that kind of ultimatum. Like, you don't want to just hold it over their head. And sometimes I'll ask, how do you want to replenish mommy's energy? And sometimes he'll do an extra chore, or sometimes he'll just let me sit and read my Bible. Like whatever restores my energy and fills my cup back up so I can function better. That's kind of a lot. It's loaded. Anyways, I cover a lot more in my framework and things like that. But if any of this was helpful, I'd love to hear your feedback in the comment below. Otherwise, I'll send those links to the webinar. I think that it would bless you. And until next time, I'll see y'all later. Bye.